profit and loss. And from January 1st through October 29th of 2019, only $23,137.72 have been collected. You are actually, it was budgeted, the number I had said earlier, $451,400. So that does not represent, $23,000 does not represent 19 tap-in fees at $7,405.26. So according to the report, please do not take the report that you have here, your sewer, just in tap-in fees, you're actually $428,262.28 under the budget. Perfect.
I see what you're looking at.
So I just need to know where's the money from the other, say, 10 tap-in fees? It should be like over $70,000. That's only representing 4 to 5 tap-in fees. So, unless your goods are wrong.
Let me get back to you on that.
Okay, thank you.
Yep, sorry about that.
Any other questions? Yes, Sharon.
Sharon Schweiker, Mark, are your 2020 spend estimates based on your 2019 year end? Or what are they, how have you projected that?
I looked at the last 4 years. I tried to project out from that using 2019 projected and the last couple of years.
You want to have access to that detail at future basis?
Yep.
Any other questions? Yes, Joe.
Chuck Geiser, North Frankford Road, Carolina. You can probably answer this. Maybe it was asked and I just didn't hear it. For the DCED grant, when is the award, when are those award decisions made?
March of 2020 is the anticipated date for notice of award when I spoke to you last.
And then when would, if we were fortunate enough to get it, when would we actually receive money? Would it match our outlay or how does that work?
DCED grants are actually a reimbursement of money spent.
So that'd be immediate?
No, that, for example, with the manhole lining, this check, the canceled check, when it's returned, it's sent to DCED, and then they issue a reimbursement based on that. So no, it's not immediate unless you've immediately spent the money. You send to them documentation on how the money was spent, and then they issue a reimbursement. That comes within a matter of weeks. It comes pretty quickly, but it's after you spend the issue. It's after you actually spend the money they reimburse.
Any other questions? Yes.
Ernie Smith, Silverbrook Drive. I have a question. On your new connections coming in with your new sewer main extensions, how many are anticipated with that? And what do they pay per EDU?
Each EDU is 7,400.
So that would be expected on the new sewer main extensions that you are required under your Act 537, that you'd be collecting that money based on a formula you would work with the customers to pay that, right? I mean, that has not been established because you have not gone out for bid to receive a contract, so you do know your costs that you would have to, build this project. And that is on your, your 537, right?
Yeah.
And that's an estimated how many connections doing that section that we had.
Just on Fulmer Road?
On Fulmer Road, Riverside, back up in there.
So what are you talking, Carol? 7?
I believe we had 50 initial and 70 total existing homes.
And along with that, when you do that bid, you have to build that sewer pump station that's down there in that area also, right? Before you can start collecting revenues from that. It's pretty tough to force people to pay before you get your system built. It's everything in government is time driven. It's like you're talking about developments that you know will take a year and a half or so to get approved, if they do get approved. And then saying you're gonna have this question every time when there's bills to be paid, which you're not gonna have the money to run your sewer plant. It just keeps, and you wanna get the revenue in to treat your effluent. So are we gonna have this meeting monthly? Are we gonna have this meeting yearly? Or is it every time a budget comes up, we're gonna have a shortfall? You just don't have enough going on around here, and you were required by DEP to do something with that old plant. Otherwise, they take it over and they have to build it. And then God only knows what bills you've got. But we have a lot of questions here, and there's no easy answers. And I hear people talk like this money, that money, that money, this money coming in. It just doesn't work that way in the sewer business. You have to have projections. You have to look at what your growth is coming in. Are you expanding your system to fill, for facilities of need? It's a complicated evolution of what's going on. And you can talk all night. There's no easy answers. You have hard decisions. To the new board coming on board, you've got hard decisions. And they're not going to be easy. You can't stop cutting costs, especially with your sewer. You can cut costs in your regular budget when you're milling, but when it comes to running a sewer plant, I've said it before, it's a public health issue. You have to make it work. It has to be guaranteed that it works. That's where I'm coming from. Thank you.
Any other questions?
Yeah, I'd like to ask my colleagues where they stand on how to meet the deficits in both of these budgets. What's our solution here? If you don't want to raise sewage rates, you don't want to raise taxes, where are we going to cut so we're not in the red every year?
You were presented with this tonight, so it would be wise for us, just like it would be wise for you, to examine everything and think it through before making a decision.
Well, I saw the budget a month ago, and I think we both of you had an opportunity to see this budget in draft.
I mean, I looked at it, so, yeah.
I mean, everybody here understands how this works in your household. Prices go up. You got to get the money from somewhere. Nobody wants to raise taxes. We only have two choices. I only actually have one choice in the sewage plant, because we have to pay the bills in the sewage plant. Like Ernie's, sorry, I can't see Ernie. But I'm agreeing with you, Ernie, that we have to pay the debt on the sewage plant. We have to pay the expenses to run the sewage plant, and we have to meet our sanitary standards so we keep people's health good. So we don't have a lot of options in the sewage plant. We can't keep running it in the red. The money's not going to just drop out of the sky. Same thing with our operating budget. We have two choices. We can raise taxes so we can actually pay for the things everybody in this township wants, or we can cut services and cut personnel so we don't have a deficit. Those are the only two choices I have.
So what are you suggesting?
Well, I'm suggesting if people want to continue seeing police coverage, and they want to continue seeing road paving, and they want to continue seeing the services that we get, and the surprises that we get every year, I think we need to consider having a small tax increase so we don't continually have a deficit. Otherwise, I look forward to suggestions where you'd like to cut the budget and what services you'd like to do without.
Brian,
I'm sorry, you can raise your
Go
hand.
behind me.
Yeah.
Joyce Larson, Little Road. I have done a little bit of research as far as the speeding is a big thing for me, and I'm in the baby stages of it, so I don't want to make a presentation. I'm just putting it out there because I shouldn't even have to do this. Is that I've seen some police departments say I can't do this, some police departments say that I can, that you can add a fee on top of the speeding ticket to actually go into the township. Because I didn't realize until I did this research that a lot of the, and tell me if I'm wrong, but a lot of the ticket goes back to the state. So it does not help us whatsoever for our police department to go out there and control our streets. So there was a few small towns that I have found in my research where they were able to add a fee, especially for repeat offenders on speeding, to go right back to the township. And so that may be or may not be, but I'm just bringing it up because I shouldn't have to spend my whole day doing research. If it is an option, it might be a way to bring down the police budget, which could give you more money and then take care of some of this other stuff. Just a thought.
Well, if you've ever had the pleasure to receive a speeding ticket, There's a certain fine amount, and then there's all sorts of costs. And you're right, all those costs, for the most part, go to the state. I think the issue might be whatever fine amount we have for speeding, pick a number, $50. We'd have to look at what the state statute allows. Does it range from 0 to 300? And if so, could we potentially increase that amount to 100, 150? Sorry.
There is a cap, I know that there's a cap.
There
And
usually
some
is.
people were riding the line a little bit from what I saw. Like as far as the police department or the township was trying to really ticket everyone to the highest level, the state sort of put the kibosh on that.
All right, so that's something we could work with the chief to see where we are and where we could possibly go, if that's something the board would like us to do.
I think it's a great idea. The only challenge is that it's not predictable.
I agree,
Yeah.
but I think if it's added into a solution plan, maybe you cut a little bit here, you do a little bit of that, and whatever else you guys come up with, I think maybe it'll help. I think there's a lot more to be done than that, but if that would help.
Thank you. Brian?
Brian Hill, 11 Bigelow Road. So as regards to Marla, your recommendation, or you're asking of recommendations from Mr. Sachs and Mr. Leite, I would have to agree with Mr. Leite. It's probably not in his best interest or Mr. Sachs' interest to make a recommendation. But I do want to congratulate them on their tenure here, the years that they have now served. Now with an incoming new board, I think the best option would be to ask them their recommendations on what services that you would like to cut. Because I don't think there's any person in this room that would like any services cut. So that would be my recommendation. I think would be a wise recommendation. New perspective, new ideas.
Well, unfortunately, we have a time frame to do that, and I think that expires by January. Is that correct?
You have to have a budget adopted for this year.
So that is not a good option.
Any other questions? Yes, Sherry.
My question is to Mark, Sherry Schwenker. Mark, have you examined our charges for services, how they compare with other townships? Is there any opportunities to increase those, to increase the revenue there?
We do need to look at our fees and increase them. I haven't had a good opportunity to dive into it too deeply, but I do have several other townships' fee schedules and have started to look at it a little bit. I mean, I'll go up a little bit, not significantly, but it is an option, yes.
And our township does not have any tax for income for businesses. Do our neighboring townships have anything there?
And a cautionary note on the fees is that there's court cases that talk about you can't necessarily raise them to make up a budget deficit. They have to be reflective of the actual effort expended for that
But
fee.
if they're not significant enough.
If they don't cover the service provided,
It shouldn't have.
you can raise it.
And another question for our solicitor. Can you raise taxes any time of the year, or is it only one time a year you can do it?
Depends which tax it is, but you raise them in conjunction with, the budget, because you need to have a resolution at the same time that sets your real estate taxes, for instance. So that's going to be in December at the same time. You do have the opportunity with a new board coming in to take another look at the budget, but that's limited in time to essentially the month of January. So I guess to straight answer the question, you couldn't look at it in June and raise the taxes at that.
So it's really, this is the time to do it.
For that year, right? This is the time that you have to really address it.
Bob?
Yeah, Bob Burns, Riverville Road. As we talked, Terry, I think it's been a year and a half, we've been asking about trying to at least get the developers' permit fees in line with neighboring townships and whatever. And I believe I asked Mark Hudson about a month or so ago, over at the D.H. Horton Arcadia Station, they put in a lot of fences. And I don't remember exactly where the conversation went with Mark, whether they actually paid for permits for those fences, or
you know, if there's fencing going in and every resident has to pay for it, then they should have to pay for it as well. And I just noticed today, going through the development, I guess these new things are that like a big 10-foot high or 12-foot high pole with like a 2-foot banner that comes down and has their name of the development and the name of the builder on it. They actually have 4 of those signs out there over top of their existing temporary sign. So I don't know, are we up to the date on all the permits that they need to have paid for as well?
Yeah, they're up to date with their permits. I can look into the fence thing a little more.
And then what about those 4 additional signs?
That's new to me.
I don't know when they went up, I just noticed it today.
Warren,
The board,
what your name is?
Warren James School Road, the board is actually looking for suggestions or opinions from the public. To me, looking at this deficit, if people don't want to raise taxes and they want to balance the budget, there's just one really obvious piece of the budget that stands out above all the rest. That's just a really, 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 really high cost. And, you know, we have it, a lot of people want it. I consider it a luxury because I see that all the rest of the townships around us get by perfectly well without having their own police force. Somewhere we have to make a compromise on that piece of our budget. Or else, if the people insist on having a big full-time police force, we have to raise taxes specifically to pay for that. It's the thing, it's the big thing that's driving our deficit. We can't cut other stuff. We can't cut personnel. We don't have an adequate road crew as it is. We're bare bones, but we have a big police force and we're buying a new police car next year.
Can you have a dedicated police tax? Is that something you can do?
You can dedicate to certain funds, but the problem is it's always to that fund. So you're better off looking at what you need specific to a given situation, but raising it in the context of the general taxes, so that you don't restrict future boards.
So that'd be something that would be semi-permanent.
It would be if you pick something. Yeah, you could designate it, but then it's designated forever. So sometimes you're better off just raising it as part of the general, knowing that it has to go to that biggest part of the budget, for instance. That's the police.
Yeah, and Mark, you have an idea, I mean, every year people's salaries are raised, every year our electricity and our telephone bills go up and our health insurance costs go up. So if you were to look at trends in our budget, considering what you've seen over the last 2 or 3 years, what would you consider to be a tax increase, and what would the average cost per person be to meet that deficit?
That kind of shows your increases. In 2016, when we were under 450,000, the police is now 720,000 or so. It's, big driver, general government, the insurances, all that kind of stuff, the roads, the projects that we've done. The earned income taxes, will be good once the new homes are built. We get dual income families into the new homes, and they start paying, that'll help our earned income tax. Our income tax has been going up with that a little bit as we get new homes in. That'll help more. The real estate taxes there is $475,000. That's what we get currently. So the deficit of $300,000.
Well, my question is, if we don't want to cut anything and these trends continue on this upward spiral, what would be the tax increase that would meet that deficit? question is, we have had a deficit in our operating fund since at least 2014. If we were to have a small tax increase to eliminate that deficit and stop operating in the red, what would be the size of that tax increase?
Just take the amount of short divided by the percent of income continuity.
I mean, you look very, probably $1 mil, 1.5 mil.
Well, what would be the average cost per person? I'm just trying to understand what we're talking. We're talking $5 or $100 or $25?
The average household pays
301.
301, so it's 2.35%. So of that, 241 goes to the general budget.
Or 1.25 mils.
Well, what would the average cost be per household with that raise? What would that cost? I think it's just helpful to understand, we're talking $10 or $100. Do you know the answer?
I think so, based on the presentation,
Here.
sorry, Josh Andrew,
Yes.
based on the presentation, you said we collect roughly $400,000 in real estate tax, right?
Yep.
The deficit is $376, right? You
Yep.
gotta double your taxes just about.
Real estate.
The real estate tax, yes. Roughly, maybe it's
So what
only
is,
80%.
what is the average real estate tax currently?
I think it was $303 per house, so it would go up another $303 per house. Sorry, per property, not per house. So actually, you know, if you have a house, it might be a little more than $300 because the $300 per property includes some vacant land.
And if you take into consideration the additional earned income tax, and that would reduce it.
Correct, then you get more houses. And more houses will increase the
And
real estate tax.
Have you included growth in the earned income tax in your current projection?
A little bit.
Bob Burns at River Road. On that $720,000 for the police for next year, you said that they were looking for a new car, but I thought I also heard that they wanted to make the one part-time officer full-time, and then another part-time officer later in the year, and a clerk. Have those things been taken out, and it's just a car now?
They were never in.
They were never in? So it's just a car, which is increasing the budget.
Car's $35,000.
Well, I think the last one cost us 60 until we fitted it with computers, shotguns, all the stuff that goes with it. It got up to $60,000.
Yeah, this was going to be on